Hello everyone and welcome back to EastEnders Weekly, your weekly podcast all about EastEnders.
It's officially the unofficial podcast for EastEnders.
Not associated with BBC or BBC Sounds.
No affiliation whatsoever.
Sadly. Not yet. Before we start, last week obviously we had the tragic end and death of our beloved friend Halfway's Hat.
Yes, we heard from him from up above, from the heavens. He's finally found his place on this, well, not on this earth anymore, is it,
No.
really?
Another plane, but he's trying to make friends and you couldn't help him.
I know, I was rubbish.
He's been lonely all week.
He has. We had no one to talk to because I wasn't able to rekindle his friendship, or kindle a friendship with this person in heaven.
So we had to reach out to our listeners to guess for you, as usual. And there was lots and lots of guesses.
I know, on Twitter and on Facebook, so thank you for sending them to us.
So the clues were the person who Halfway's Hat was seeing in heaven was they smell of lavender perfume, they wear cardigans, ties and brooches, and they can hear cheap Christmas music playing. So some of the incorrect ones were Pauline Fowler, which was you, Angie Watts, Pat Butcher, Ethel Skinner, Lou Beale, Heather Trott, Peggy Mitchell, Dot, Mo, Sylvie, Mo Butcher, Les Coker.
I was about to say, everyone went for females, apart from, obviously, the Les one.
But Les is alive, so he won't be
Oh,
in
yes,
heaven.
that's also true.
And nor's Dot. Dot's also alive, and so is Mo.
Although Les's alter ego is in heaven,
Oh, yeah,
perhaps.
Christine.
So we could have said Christine Coker. That would have been a guess.
So all of them were incorrect. But we had one person who managed to crack the code.
Thank goodness for this one person who could understand what Halfway's Hat was thinking.
So we had Ron on our Facebook group, because I put a little thing on there. That's where all the fun happens. If you want to join in the fun, join the Facebook group. There's lots of little fun things happen like this.
Just put in the search EastEnders Weekly Podcast and find our group and click to join.
I seek a closed group.
It's a really lovely group as well. Everyone chats to one another. It's really friendly. So do join in.
So he guessed, he guessed Nana Moon. Now, do you want to hear what Halfway has to say about this?
Halfway's Hat, I'd like to know what he has to say.
Yes, that's right. She said her name is Nana Moon.
Ah, phew, the relief.
I feel so much better now.
I know.
He's made a friend. Nana Moon.
His first friend in heaven. One of many, I hope. One of many, many
You could
friends.
possibly visit hell, see what's going on down there, see if he likes it a bit better.
We'll
see.
A few evil characters perhaps down in hell, but the nicer characters up in heaven.
Nana Moon.
So don't you listeners worry, because Halfway's Hat hasn't gone on our show. He still lives, or doesn't live, in the presence of a spirit.
So yeah, the cheap Christmas music, for anyone, she died while Alfie kept playing that same cheap Christmas toy that sung Christmas music to her. That's when she died.
Yeah.
So that's why she could still hear it in heaven.
That was the biggest clue, wasn't it? And that's the one I missed. I just immediately thought of Death in the Square and Pauline.
So there you go. What a nice friend to make in heaven.
Yeah, lovely friend. I mean, we've made some friends as well outside of heaven, because we would like to do a shout out to the website cadburyinventor.com, and we strongly recommend that you go to the site to vote for what would be your favourite new chocolate bar, because there's 3 different creations that have been made.
Ooh.
There's a Choco Mocha one,
No.
there's a raspberry shortcake one, or my favourite anyway, which is the Simply the Zest one, which is orange with caramel and biscuit pieces.
Ooh, that looks
Doesn't
nice.
it sound nice?
Yeah.
So I would go to the website and vote for your favourite, but personally I have to say mine was the Simply the Zest one. 3 people have invented 3 chocolate bars on cadburyinventor.com, and they want you to vote for the one you think is the best.
Okay. I will.
Good. I strongly suggest it.
Now, do you want to know what episodes we'll be discussing this week?
I certainly would.
They are the episodes that broadcast on BBC One in the UK between the 24th and the 27th of June 2019.
Lovely. And lots happened this week, but not perhaps what we wanted to happen, because I think there was a serious lack of Ballum.
Next week is Ballum week.
And Sharon.
I know she was missing.
And Keanu. And Phil.
Well, they had lots of location filming last week, so they're tired.
That's right. They've blown the budget for the month.
But yeah, we had lots of storylines, like lots of little mini bits and pieces going on. So we're going to start off with Jean, because she's sort of back getting her storylines thrown around. We've got a new character, Daniel Cook.
Yes.
What a
Daniel
bland
Cook.
name.
A bland name for a not so bland character, because he's really shook the boat quite quickly in Walford General
What do you
Hospital.
think? Do you like him?
I mean, I'm biased because I love Ade Edmondson, and as soon as I heard the news that he was being introduced into the soap, I was a bit reluctant by the idea. But actually, his character's fun and interesting, and I think it's just the kind of shake Jean wants. Stacey and Kat had said that they've seen a new vigour in Jean at the end of the week after they've been introduced to one another.
Yeah, someone getting her angry seems to be giving her a bit of momentum.
She's a Slater after all, and she likes to have a bit of a push, doesn't she? She likes to be rattled, have her cage rattled now and then. I mean, no Slater doesn't. All Slaters, I should say, like to have a bit of an argument and fight.
I mean, I've already made my early prediction on his first episode, where I predict that they will eventually get together, fall in love. He'll be all happy for Jean, happy moments, and then his cancer diagnosis will take a downhill, and he'll pass away, just as they've accepted each other in each other's arms.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's already fallen for Jean, hasn't he? Because I think he sees Jean as feisty, someone who can stand toe to toe to him, can almost doesn't back down to his rudeness and his intolerance of other
obviously
people.
his rudeness is going to be a front for him being scared, and he'll admit it, and they'll have a little thing together. I think.
He's already said that there's the cancer lottery, and he likes to see the sweepstake of who's gone each week, and he's kind of brushing away his cancer,
the
seriousness of it by trying to make a joke, but his joke is kind of isolating other people because he's almost being a bit too blasé about other people's illness too. And not everyone looks after themselves or worries about things in the same way as him, but he's got an intolerance of other people's way of being able to cope with the cancer.
We also had a small mention of Jean not liking NHS wigs.
Yes, she doesn't like them. We know that there's money there. There's money for her to buy some wigs in the Slater house, so she could buy herself a nice little human hair.
£50,000.
She could have a real hair one. Not none of this horsehair rubbish. She can have a nice little human hair wig popped on her little bonce.
Yeah, I mean, she threw water over him because he was being rude. He stole her book.
He criticised her for the kind of books that she reads, the kind of Mills and Boon type books, the romantic novels. She was like, well, you mind your own. You have no right to tell me what I can and cannot like. Took the book off him and walked away, and he kind of nodded knowingly. He was like,
yeah. When she walked off, he lingered on her for a bit.
Yeah.
So he thinks, there's a bit more to you than just what I've seen. And I also thought it was odd that Big Mo seemed to think that Stacey wasn't looking after Jean. Like, all right, Big Mo.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Have you ever looked after anyone apart from yourself? Yeah,
she's kind of just trotting around. Although she is, isn't she? She's trying to look after the whole Cat and Cushion Stacey and Martin situation, so maybe she's just still trying to be the neutral Swiss ground on the whole situation of the Slaters at the moment. But yeah, it was unfair to say to Stacey that she's not been looking after Jean, because the one running theme for the last couple of weeks is Stacey constantly asks Jean, are you okay? And Jean constantly snaps, yes, I'm fine, stop asking after me all the time. And that's again another link with Daniel, because Daniel hates people mothering him and pandering him all the time, and it's something Jean can relate to. So although Jean is being quite resistant of his friendship, because he was the first one who came over to her, don't forget as well, she also should kind of look at it that actually they're more similar than maybe she should give credit for.
And also notice he's never had a visitor, like when we've seen Stacey or Kat or Kush when they went to go visit Jean. He's always been on his own.
Yeah.
So I suppose he must have isolated himself with his bitterness.
But he could have no family to call to as well. That's again a reason for why he feels so isolated, and his immediate knee-jerk reaction is to remove anyone else from his life. But he was willingly letting Jean in. He kind of saw Jean as a ally.
Did a bit of test first.
Yeah, tested the waters.
See how feisty she was.
Yeah,
a bit of a soft launch, I would say, for Daniel Cook, but it's only his first week. So.
It's Adrian Edmondson. I mean, he's always going to be Eddie and Vivian from the young ones for me, and Eddie from Bottom. But I know he's done a lot of roles since then, and he's done Holby, hasn't he? Holby City, and I think he's done a lot of serious roles on stage.
Not seen him in anything.
But same. So this is the first time really I've seen him in a role this similar style, and yeah, I'm enjoying it actually. He can act, he's really good, so good for him. It's really good fun. I'm talking about visitors. I wouldn't personally want Stacey to be by my side. She was so annoying when she was there waiting with Jean.
She was looking on her phone all the time,
eating chocolate, showing her articles in a magazine. It's like, look at this, mum. It was like, oh, so annoying. I'd hate her to be by my side.
I'd just stick with Cat and Kush, I think.
Same.
It's something to look at.
I think I'd have Kush carry me to my chair. Gently put the needle in my arm and give the chemo.
God, he's doing it all. So the next topic we have is Bobby Beale.
Yes.
Now, before we start, there's a new storyline starting Bobby Beale, which could possibly be dark.
Mm.
And I was wondering, do you remember months ago when they announced Kate Oates was on the show?
Yes.
And she said, there's a storyline and it scares me. Do you remember that? And we were all thinking, what could it be? I wonder what it is. I wonder, is it the Sean Slater one where he's committing suicide? Is it Mel and Hunter? No, I think this could possibly be the one that she was talking about.
I mean, we don't know this is the story that road they're heading down.
But predictions.
Well, there's a lot to suggest that a lot of people believe this could be the road it's going down. Although I have a few worries also for them doing a story like this, because it's a really touchy subject to do, and it needs to be done.
Yeah, because you got the impression, because he was on at the end of the week, he was on the phone to someone called Imran, who we think is someone who he's in prison with, and he said he's not been able to study. He's finding it hard because the parents are at home, and he's put a lock on his door.
Yeah.
So he's obviously doing something secret in his home.
But he's hiding it as well, isn't he? Because he got the phone from under his bed in a box. And so there's stuff in that box as well, which we don't know quite yet what it could be in there.
And like last week when he came, the first thing he did was go in that toolbox and put a lock on his door. And we thought, oh, it's because he was a bit nervous or whatever. But obviously there's something he's hiding. So come to the conclusion that possibly he's being radicalised from prison.
Yes, and wait, this is your theory. So you think that he's basically joined a Muslim, I presume, a Muslim group, a radicalised Muslim group.
I mean, you don't want to jump to that conclusion just because he spoke to someone called Imran.
Well, no, this is what I mean. This is what worries me, because I hope that it's as soon as the name Imran was mentioned, it lit up a light to a lot of people saying radicalisation.
That's what I thought, and I thought I shouldn't think that straight away. That's really bad.
No,
so I didn't. I was like, I don't want to put my theory online, but this looks like it could be dark. But it's a dark storyline that Kate Oates likes to do. But I am worried, hesitant, not worried.
Yes, because we last week, at the end of last week, we were saying, oh, it's so nice they're doing nice Bobby, and he's not going to be an evil character, and I mean, again, this doesn't necessarily mean that Bobby will become evil.
He's easily manipulated, I guess.
Which is not out of character for Bobby, because he went to prison quite young. He obviously needed to fit in somewhere, and this was perhaps a route or a road he took in order to help him fit in, and it has helped him in some ways outside. Now he's outside of prison, because when he spoke to Imran, he did then kind of step back and was like, oh, actually, Dad, I will take some tutorage. So, I mean, it's not necessarily that he's been radicalised.
What's he going to learn? What's he going to take tutoring in?
It could be that he's found a religion or a group or something which he can relate to. It could be a cult as well, don't forget. It could be just
He's keeping it secret, so obviously...
Yeah, so it's something he doesn't want people to know about. But then I suppose some people do keep religion secret because it seems a bit outdated and a bit...
Yeah, but come on, it's not going to be that, is it?
Well, no, I guess not. But again, if we're
we know what it's going to be.
We don't know that.
Yeah,
we do not know that. We don't. We don't know that for 100%.
Yeah, but I do. No, I don't. But it is that. Come on. But I just hope that they do it well, and they're careful with how they do it and what they do.
Oh, I agree with you there. I think
because it's a very slippery slope, especially on the BBC.
It's a tricky story to get,
especially with the press, all anti-EastEnders at the moment because they're spending money building a new set. So yeah, I expect some headlines.
Oh yeah, the red tops are going to have a lot to say about it. The Daily Mail particularly will probably have a few choice words to mention, because as you say, it's on the BBC, and if it is that story, which we don't know it is.
No, but
stop saying "but it is," because you don't know it.
No,
is.
I don't, but it is.
A lot of the forums are saying it is. And
what?
Yes, they are.
Oh, I thought I was so clever.
Well, no, you are. You're part of the trend.
Yeah.
Maybe you're the group. Maybe you're the cult. The cult of thinking
Bobby.
there's radicalisation happening on EastEnders.
I mean, elsewhere on the Bobby storyline, we had them all going to the Vic as a Beale family. Wasn't it nice seeing the Beale house so full up?
Yeah, it really was. And they're
seen it
having a
so
family
full in
meal as
years.
well. I mean, again, Lola is notably not joining in with the Beales because she can't be around Bobby. As we've already mentioned last week, let's not forget all the things Ben had done. In fact, Ben had been...
All the things that she has done.
Yeah, well, and also, and she got away with from getting...
Oh, Lola. I don't talk about Lola. We'll talk about her later. She's annoying.
Okay. But, they go to the pub and the whole pub goes a bit silent and Rainie decides to throw a few of her thoughts toward the
It
lion
seems like
pair.
really weird of Rainie, that did to me. Like she was doing it purposely just so we could be like, Yeah, Max.
I think she was doing it purposely.
Do you think she was trying to impress Max and she thought that's what he wanted?
Exactly that. She saw that Max was with Mel in the pub at this point, and she's already a bit jealous that Max and Mel were having this relationship. And so she thought, oh, I know how I can rile Max up a little bit. Let's just remind him. Let's poke the bee's nest a little bit. Let's remind the bear that there's a Beale in town and he got you in jail for a really long time.
Yeah, but then Max stood up. It was like, oh, for God's sake, Max.
Well, Max was
even
a bigger
that
man.
Stand-up thing was just. Ugh.
Yeah, but he only did it to impress Mel, and he even admitted it later. Mel was like, "Did you do that to impress me?" And he was like, "Yes, yes, I did." Well, impress / take you to bed, because he was. Oh my goodness! Again, we'll talk about the Branning brothers soon, but my goodness, he's like dripping, wasn't he? Every time he saw Mel hanging around.
Still not working. Even Kate Oates and John Sen magic hasn't worked on Max, I'm afraid. He's still
it's good.
Irritable.
Like I said, we'll talk about the Brannings in a minute, but the fact that they've brought the Branning brothers together, that's the one thing that I think they're quite clever. Yes, they work better as a duo as they do apart. But we'll talk about more about that a bit later.
But so Bobby, I guess, thinks that the Max feud is kind of done for now.
Yeah, he was a bit fidgety when Jack started walking toward him, and you can tell that there's still a bit of tension there. But Ian...
Well, he was threatening to beat him up last week.
Well, yes, exactly. And Ian's not giving up quite so easily, because later on in the week, Bobby appears with injuries on his face, and he immediately thinks that's Max, and that it was all an act in front of everyone.
Yeah, Bobby says that he looked for a fight, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's experimenting in his bedroom with something and something went off in his face or something.
Oh, for goodness sake, you actually going that far, are you?
Well, I don't know.
You think
what's in that box?
He's got the little boy guidebook of bomb making.
Yeah.
This podcast is taking a tricky turn now, I think.
Well, he didn't have time to have a fight. He went straight home from the pub. And
we don't know
upset.
that. We didn't see from when he left the pub to when he was back at home crying. We didn't see what happened in between.
Skipped.
Yeah, but look at him. All we did was walk to the fish and chip shop, and some lads smacked his chips up in the air last week. All he had to do was walk over the square.
One of those faces.
He has.
Just want to punch.
Well, it's EastEnders, isn't it? So perhaps the words got round in the youths as well that he was a bit of a, he went to prison, and so everyone's trying their, if we can upset the boy who went to prison, then we'll look cooler and better than him.
I mean, at the beginning of the week also, we can't forget Adam Woodjack's back on the scene.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe he
came
said
home.
That straight away.
He said to Kathy, "Really? You're opening a place up here where all this happened?" So I'm glad they mentioned that, but Kathy just got to brush it off.
Well, she didn't.
In the past.
Someone she didn't brush off was Tina. Tina went full-blown on-the-lips kiss with Kathy.
I know.
I mean, is Kathy going to, experiment?
She looked quite surprised.
Surprised, but not upset. There was definite...
No.
Actually, that was a nice cherry-tasting lip balm. Kiss my pillar box.
What was Tina going on about? She was doing a wedding or something, was she? I can't remember.
No, she's just talking about a night that
propose.
could... Yeah, a night that could happen in the Albert. Because
I'd go to the Albert during the day because they've got those.
Look nice in the day. Yeah, they had a cake shop and a coffee machine. I mean, a competition for Ian. So I'm surprised Ian wasn't, a bit upset by because if it was just a gay bar, then he doesn't need to worry. He seemed really surprised that Kathy was had opened this gay bar, and also there was no question of where the money came from. Just oh, well done, Kathy.
Her costume jewellery.
Yeah.
Also, the really odd plot point of how Ian somehow doesn't know that Masood has sold the business to Max. If you're in a partnership, don't you both have to sign it over?
Well, no, because it was Masood's share.
Well, so Ian doesn't need to know.
No, it was Masood's share,
really?
So he can sell it behind. Yeah.
That doesn't sound legal to me.
I think it is. It's because they're 50-50, I presume, of the ownership of the business. So if it's his share.
I mean, Ian is just awful. He ran into Walford East, looked at Habiba and Iqra, was like, "Who are you? Get out before I phone the police." And then he was like, "Masood's left me in this trouble. I want some time off. Now Bobby's home." It's like, Ian, you've just had 4 months off, and you've come in wanting more time off. Yeah, he works with Max.
Yeah, and Max seems to, as you say, been doing the brunt of the work. Habiba and Iqra. I still don't really understand how Habiba and Iqra have any kind of.
I know. On their first week, they said they didn't know how to cook a chicken. And since then, they've been running the Walford East on their own, cooking and serving.
Pretty much single-handedly. Yeah,
Kathy's been drinking.
No, Kathy's been organising the gay bar.
Drinking.
Kissing girls. And Max, I presume Max has a bit of a work toward it.
Iqra and Habiba didn't let Max and Rainie work there, remember, when they lost the car lot? They said you're not allowed. They didn't let them work.
No,
did they?
just Rainie. They can't
just
say no to
Rainie.
Max. I mean, this is my point. They can't say no to Max because they don't have any ownership of Walford East. So I don't really know how why they're there.
Maybe those in Kathy's good books.
Yeah, maybe.
Kathy's been in charge.
I suppose there was that story, wasn't there, where Mel said, "Oh, let me organise the books for you" a couple of months ago in order to get into Ian's bank account. And Kathy worked it out. So yeah, I guess she's hired by Kathy then. They're both being hired by Kathy to literally run Walford East. Yeah.
Into the ground.
I mean, who's looking after the cafe? Now Tina doesn't do the cafe anymore.
Yeah, Kath's not been in there in ages.
Yeah. It's just...
Marie. It's all down to Marie.
Oh, good old Marie. It's always the extras that prop up the rest of the cast, isn't it? Always the extras.
Yeah. Right, so next up we have a feature that I must warn you. This feature was pre-recorded on an extremely hot evening.
Yes.
So we might be slightly delirious, but we'll see if you can spot it. You know what I've got a massive hankering for recently?
Ooh, a little bit of a classic.
No, a little bit of jelly deals.
Oh, really? I didn't see that one coming.
Outside table.
Yeah.
All together, community.
Bunting.
And some jelly deals to eat.
Girl guide, setting everything up. Whistles blown left, right and centre. A bit of vinegar to pop on top of that jelly eel.
Yes, that's right. We are doing a brief history in Walford, / request.
Yes.
We take requests now. And if you request a section to us, we will do it.
We probably will.
So this request was from Twitter, which was Mr. Trick, who is at Mr. Trick4, and he said, on your podcast this weekend, please can you do a review for Pat and Frank's wedding in 1989?
Do you know what
just happened on Classic EastEnders?
Yeah, and Mr. Trick number 4, because there must be 3 other Mr. Tricks out there. To get in touch, it would be our pleasure to talk about a bit of Classic EastEnders, and especially Pat, who I have a huge soft spot for, because I don't really want to talk about much else about what's happening on Classic EastEnders at the moment, because Pete Beale has found himself a contender for most annoying character ever to strut down Albert Square.
Worse than Robbie.
He's the model. This is what Robbie was modelled on.
The Minties, the Gusses, the Robbies, the Mickeys.
Yeah, just a kind of like a down on his luck, a bit silly kind of fool. Doesn't really sees the world in a different way to everyone else,
but not funny.
But not funny in the slightest, you know.
Trevor. So he's even got a boring name.
Trev. Yeah, I'm sure they coined a term like, all right, Trev, or what's up, Trev? Something like
I doubt he coined anything.
No.
Apart from no career.
So yeah,
we're not talking about Trev.
We don't want to talk about Trev. We want to talk about the wedding of the year. Bigger than any royal wedding of the 80s.
Yeah.
This was Pat and Frank's street wedding, organised by Frank's mum.
Mo Butcher.
Yes. But before we talk about the wedding, the ceremony itself, let's quickly do a bit of a build-up. Yeah, let's do this. Let's sign some prenup paperwork and maybe talk about how they rekindled their love again, because they first met when they were much younger, when Pat was 16 years old and Frank was 18 years old.
But was at Butlands, or was it just an unknown place like Butlands?
No, they just both live in the same area, just coincidentally.
Oh.
They both lived in Walford.
Oh, but the first time they,
Oh, the first time they met was on holiday camp.
Yeah.
And then they got home and they were like, oh, this is funny. But something happened with their relationship and they split ways in 1958. And then Frank ultimately went on to marry June Simmons, for which he had 4 children with. And Pat would marry...
multiple men.
Well, marry only a few, but sleep with multiple men.
Oh, yeah.
But at that time, it was Pete Beale. What? Oh, no, all right, Pete Beale.
Her worst in bed. Missionary only.
Yes, so Kathy said it otherwise, but I'm sure that,
Oh, Kathy was lying.
I know. I mean, Frank must be pretty hot in bed then if Pat stuck around with him.
Yeah, she likes it.
Well, we know that, don't we? Because she's, in later iterations of the story between when he marries Peggy...
Peggy's boring in bed compared to Pat.
Yeah, and Frank said that to Pat. And so the electricity between Frank and Pat was always much more higher and much more sensual than what Frank ever had with Peggy and what Pat ever had with Roy. But
her and Roy didn't do it. They were that relationship was like a
monogamous.
Yeah, it was just we're friends but married.
I mean, she just wanted his money, didn't she?
Yeah.
She just wanted
Like
sweet coin. Sweet coin.
But I mean, the wedding came quite suddenly because obviously Pat and Frank did rekindle. The show needed someone to replace Dan and Ange.
So the show needed replacement, didn't they?
Yes, for Dan and Ange.
Yes.
So Pank... So Frank and Pat replaced them as landlord, but back then, they preferred couples. Married couples.
Well, that's right.
More secure.
They only had a chance of getting the Queen Vic if they were seen as a secure unit, someone who could be dependable to look after one another. Pat met Frank again before any of this pub talk came about on the Isle of Dogs. On that famous episode when they went
when they went all that way just to play darts.
Yeah, women's dart team went all the way for a darts match. It was a great episode.
And Pat sulked off for like an hour and no one really noticed.
Yeah, people did notice. Yeah, they noticed, but they didn't really seem that concerned that Pat had gone, and so they just played the match without her.
And Pauline had that weird man who was like into her.
Oh yeah, the truck driver.
Yeah, and then he like disappeared.
Well, no, he kept coming to the square, didn't he? And kept being like, "Oh,
weird.
Can I help you with those ladies?"
She really liked the attention.
She did, but Arthur got very jealous.
We're not talking about them.
No,
they're already married.
It's all about the hot couple.
So that's when they got engaged because the pub brewery were like, "Well, if you're not engaged, you're not secure." So they pretended that they're engaged, even though she's still married to Simon's dad.
Ah, yes. So she needed to break off and get a divorce from Simon's dad
very quickly.
Very quickly.
Although actually, they've gotten married. That divorce came really quick as well, didn't it? In '89.
I mean, you could divorce much quicker than you can now.
Oh, okay.
Now you have to, go to therapy.
All it takes is a Mini.
Oh, that's all just a car. Yeah, just buy him off with a car.
It was like 2 weeks and then the wedding day. So Mo took it upon herself to organise it for them. Surprise.
Insanely good organisation by Mo. I mean, after the episodes of the wedding, she was quite down and deflated, wasn't she? I think it just hit her.
Yeah, the adrenaline.
That's right. It just sucked itself out of her.
But it was a day of celebrations.
Big celebration.
It was all on location filming. The weather kept changing between scenes.
Yes. 1 minute it was about to rain, next minute it was blazing sunshine, then there was a windstorm coming by.
I mean, they were all sat outside in the square, weren't they, as a community?
They were, and Frank's best man couldn't turn up, so luckily Arthur was there to turn up and help. A lot of people got a bit tipsy, perhaps. Everyone got to be entertained by the beautiful singing voice of Sharon. But she seemed a bit shy this time.
I know.
Not
It
so
seemed
confident.
a bit of ad-libbing from Tish, I think.
Yeah.
Tisha Dean. She was like, "Oh, feel a bit silly here. Give me the microphone."
Yeah, I know. I did half hope that something out of nothing was going to come out of her, but sadly not.
No, an original version.
I mean, Wixie hasn't been singing for a long time either. It used to be the old, oh, go on, Wixie, get around the piano, play us a tune. And he hasn't done that.
Grown up, and
in fact, they hire people to do it for him now.
They had the classic London food as well, which Pete, obviously, was the only one who liked it, and Ethel.
Pete, the character, liked it, but I think Pete, the actor, wasn't so keen. Because he kept nibbling at like the tiniest piece on his fork, like, yeah, lovely.
Yummy. Jellied eels are weird, aren't they?
I've never had it, but I'm aware of it. I don't think it's obviously a London thing so much now. Correct me if I'm wrong, any London listeners. But pie and mash is still a big deal, though.
Yeah,
and gravy on top. It did look yummy. Yeah.
That jellied eels, it was in like a plastic container, and it was like 90% jelly. It just looked disgusting.
And it looked like, I don't know if, again, I've never had it really, but jelly deals, it looked like there was fish eyes in there as well.
There's bones, because Dot said to Charlie to spit out the bones.
Oh, right.
So it just sounds disgusting. It's very blue. Like, blue food is a bit weird.
I suppose it's kind of, I don't want to insult Londoners here, but it just feels a bit awfully to me. Like something you had it not out of choice when you during the war, as it were.
Phil Mitchell would like it though, because he liked it for Bex's like party, didn't he?
Phil Mitchell's list of party food consists of Scotch eggs, miniature Scotch eggs, and sausage rolls, and jelly eels, and sausages on sticks, cheese on sticks.
See, proper EastEnders, like Pete Beale.
If they had cheese on sticks and stuff at the wedding, I'd be more than happy with that. That's a buffet that I could enjoy.
I didn't think their banner was very good either, actually, for the wedding, behind the main table. It looked like someone had just spray painted some words on it. I wasn't very impressed with that.
What did it say on there? Like, congratulations, Pat?
Something like that. I couldn't really read it, but it just looked really tacky.
Like,
even for EastEnders back then.
I don't want to sound rude, but the whole occasion wasn't exactly top class. And it was all to please Mo, really, because Mo has now accepted Pat. Because when Mo and Pat first met one another, Mo didn't like Pat at all and didn't trust her. But over time, she's accepted she's a grafter, she works hard, and she is good enough for her son. And so as a gift to them, Mo had organised and planned this whole wedding for her. And
not a boring hotel wedding.
No, which what Pat wanted. Pat wanted a hotel wedding, but, as a viewer, I was happy with the outcome.
And we also can't forget, because there's big news, it was the night before of his stag do, Frank's stag do. After 4-5 years, we finally found out what Pete Beale's party trick is.
Of course, yes, and it's
when
disgusting.
He's had a few drinks. No wonder Pauline kept telling him to stop it.
It's
put it away.
Yeah, it's a gross out, isn't it? I mean, this has been a mystery since Christmas.
The first one, 85.
Boxing Day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Boxing Day in 1985. What is
when he
Pete
did it in
Beale's...
the living room.
Yes.
And then he did it again the next year somewhere on like New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
So we finally found out what it is.
And would you like to reveal Pete Beale's party trick? No, I don't think...
It involved Prince Albert. No, well, he got up on the table and said, I'll do my party trick then. And there was an empty pint glass underneath him, and he said he was going to fill it up.
Yes.
So we'll leave the rest to fill in the blanks. Does Ian do this party trick? Follow on from his dad, do you think?
I think if Ian stood on a table the way he is now, the table would collapse, and that would be the party trick.
That's true.
You know, the table was quite wobbly in the Vic, even in 1989, and I was concerned for Pete's welfare at that point, because Pete's now only my second least favourite character.
I mean,
next
he
to
just
Trevor.
whips it out in front of everyone then, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, he's so bad in bed.
He's bad in bed, but he's obviously makes up for it with girth, I suppose.
Oh, no. What?
Do you reckon it
Nah,
actually...
what you do?
Yeah, what? I can get it into the glass. It rolls down like a chameleon's tongue.
Oh my god. But anyway, at least we finally found out his party trick. So that's one mystery that's been put to rest.
Yes, which is not...
And I never want to see it again.
To be fair, I had forgotten about it, and so it wasn't something
I
that
had.
jumped to mind until, as you said, he decided to show.
It was his one and only mystery, and it stinks.
I would like to hire him to come to maybe a party.
What, to do that?
To do my party trick. I would pay the actor to do that. I reckon he'd do it. He's an acting... He's a jobber, isn't he? He's
yeah,
needs
there's
to
only one
work.
way to find out.
Let's get him on. Let's find him. If anyone knows how to get in touch with Pete Dean, please let us know, and we'll ask him to do our party trick. Do our party trick, not our party trick, on the show. But it was a nice wedding. It was a tasteful occasion.
It was. It was just a nice, happy ending. There wasn't even like a duff. It just went.
Yeah. It was a knees up, wasn't it? It was a proper London East End knees up. And,
knees up, Mother Brown.
Yeah, and this very much has been the year of 1989 at the moment.
Oh, also, about the wedding.
Sorry, yeah.
When Ethel was singing, she was doing like high kicks.
Oh yeah, she was kicking a bar tray up to her nose
No,
level.
it was actually her.
Yeah.
I was amazed when I saw her do that. She was like doing high kicks right up, loads of them.
And Matthew was playing the spoons. He was in the background going. Again, a hidden skill that we didn't know Matthew had.
Yeah, shocked by Ethel.
Yeah.
I was actually shocked.
I was impressed.
Because it was actually her.
That's a party trick I can tune into. You know, I was happy with
Not
that.
weeing in a pint glass, kicking your knees up.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ethel came out for the occasion, so you know it's going to be good.
Well, she knew there was free alcohol. I mean,
and jelly deals.
And jelly deals. I mean, well, she enjoyed it, didn't she? She said, "Oh, a proper London meal." Ooh. She was having a great time. I mean, alcohol was flowing aplenty. A few people got a little bit too drunk. Ricky, Arthur.
Oh yeah, Ricky
probably
was drunk
Pete,
and interrupted Diane and Thingy on whatever his name is. That other boring guy, Muscles.
Oh yeah.
His name Peter? No. Potter. Paul Potter.
Paul. Yeah.
They interrupted him and Diane, the 15-year-old, which no one seems to have an issue with.
Well, we've had this issue in the past with EastEnders Classic.
The 80s.
Yeah.
Can I use that excuse for so long now?
Yeah, make someone pregnant, it's fine.
Yeah, lovely episode. And it was the one where on Frank's funeral, like way in the future, where Pat looks out the window and they show clips of that
horse and
over.
cart. They went to and from the registry office on a horse and cart. And Arthur wanted the poo, didn't he? He wanted the horse poo. Gold that was for an allotment later. So he quickly snuck behind Pauline and got the shovel and started shoveling it into a bucket ready for his strawberries. Not as good as Arthur's, as we established last week.
And then they went off in their posh car by Pete.
Yeah, that was
Pete
weird.
shoved them in a car and it was really random.
They decorated Ian's Jeep. But it was a trick.
Yeah, and it was like
so
a
they
limo.
could go into... Well, it was a taxi, wasn't it? It was like a private limo. And I found that a bit weird, like a little... It was almost like Blink and you missed the joke. He was like, "Oh, you're not going in the cheap Jeep. You're going in." It was almost
going in this crummy taxi
instead. But also, it's Frank almost admitting that the Jeep that he sold to Ian was pretty crap. Yeah.
Well, that's 89 for you. Just sum that up.
I mean, 80. That's what I was going to say. 89 can be summed up with they're trying to make EastEnders humorous and fun, and it's just failing all the time. But on this note,
quite well.
Yeah,
up to the wedding episode, then it's just like plummeted since then.
It was starting to show cracks before the wedding episode.
Trevor cracks.
Yeah, he's been nailing water pipes again. But everyone said, 89 is a really poor year, get ready for 89, you're going to be shocked. And it began really well. I thought, I'm quite enjoying it. And then, no. The summer of 89 has pretty much shown.
We'll get through it, though.
We will. The 90s are on the way. The 90s, this is when the Mitchells come in. But not till the very end, apparently. I was quite upset to hear that.
Well, there you go. That was a request for us to review the Pat and Frank wedding.
Absolutely. If you have anything, if you have any feature ideas or something you'd like us to talk about from Classic EastEnders, please do get in touch on Twitter at EastEnders Week, our Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast, our Facebook group, just search EastEnders Weekly Podcast and click to join, or email us eastendersweekly@gmail.com. As you can see, we will take all requests willfully.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah, we'll do anything.
Any party trick.
Yeah, we'll do.
You can hire me to do that if you want.
If you want to hire Ben, please feel free to show him to do his party trick.
There you go. So that was a brief history in Walford. So the Branning brothers have been extremely busy this week. In all the storylines. They're the new Stacey Slater in all the storylines everywhere.
I know, they were just sticking, every time we were writing notes, the Branning brothers would come out and be like, where do I put this? Do I put it in the story that I'm watching, or do I put it in the Branning brothers story?
So we can kind of break it into the Mel, Rainie, Jack, and like the Tiff and Jack, kind of.
Yeah. So although they ultimately collide at the end, they do split up in between into lots of different directions.
When Jack was at his best in a long time, in that alleyway.
Yes. Jack, or Scott Marsden, I applaud you. I really enjoyed Scott this week. Absolutely, 100%. This is what I want from Jack. I do not want womanizing, driving around in a car with leather gloves, thinking he's the mutt's nuts.
Yeah, sexist pig.
Yeah, just being in the background, selling property and giving up like the rentals to people. That's not the Jack I want. I want Jack when he's
in an alleyway,
offered a job as being a cop again, being a bit bent, a bit fierce,
stabs in the shoulder, carries on,
shirt off, blood pouring down his nipples,
that was really surprising when that shirt popped off.
I know. You can sway me with a good chest as well. Don't get me wrong, but yes, 100%. This is Jack. This is the Jack we need, not wet Jack. We've had such a miserable Jack these past few years. Just no involvement with anything, no excitement, no nothing. And this is, they've turned Jack back up to 11, and they've not done that with Max. With Max, they've kind of kept Max as the dribbly, kind of like looking for woman, wants love, misunderstood, kind of feels sorry for himself, angry at everyone else because they're the reason his problems are what they are. No, none of that.
Down to him.
Jack, he knows what he is. He knows what he wants. He's hard. He's feisty. He's on the up.
He's looking after his family.
Yeah, exactly. Looking after his extended family, asking Sonia all the time, is everything all right with Tiff? Tiff, is everything all right? Tiff comes and visits and actively wants to see Jack, her Uncle Jack, because she wants to, say thank you to him.
Tiff's looking out for him as well, because she had a few things to say to Mel, didn't she?
She did.
Sniffing around.
I mean, when Mel was sniffing around, waiting to transfer a bit of money, she had quite a few gleaming appraisals about Jack, didn't she, from a few people, which ultimately changed her mind in the end.
Last minute. But I was slightly worried when we saw Frasier and the gang keep turning up, and I thought, I don't want another gang.
I know, it's always gangs.
For God's sake. But I think the gang was sort of dealt with quite quickly.
And also it was necessary, and it wasn't drawn out. It was there. The story was a couple of episodes for the Tiff and Jack story. We know there's more to come because we've got that from the trailer.
Yes, so the rest.
Yeah, so there's more to come with Jack and the Tiff story and Frasier.
Because he did beat up, punch Frasier, but
Frasier
did have a knife
first, though. Well, Frasier was warned first of all. Jack didn't go straight into it and was like, I'm just going to beat you unnecessarily. Again,
Max Branning.
Exactly. If it was another Branning, that would have just stormed in, no nonsense at the end of it. Jack is the thoughtful Branning. He walked in. First of all, he stood up to them at the PG because his kids wanted to use the swings. He protected his kids as well. I mean, I was, I got a bit tingly when he protected his kids. His kids stood behind him, and he was like,
"Did you imagine you were one of the kids and you were looking at
I was
Daddy
aiming.
Jack?
I was aiming at that point. I was the one giving Mel the appraisal about how wonderful my daddy is, and he stood up to them, and Frasier was a bit like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, come on then. Come on, lads, let's go. And Jack was like with his smartphone, taking photographs, getting
He
a bit
likes
of
doing that. He
evidence.
did that to Mel's neck, didn't he?
Yeah.
Although he took a really bad photograph that time because he did the light behind her.
Oh, yeah.
So he has gotten better at his photography skills.
When Ray had strangled her on her wedding day. Yeah, but that was wet Jack. That was a Jack that upset me because he was like taking some photographs and then suddenly like, oh, actually, I still love you, Mel.
But Mel hasn't forgotten wet Jack because in her on Hunter's head, it's kind of his fault that Hunter's in prison, I guess. So, which is why she now wants to take his 75,000. I don't know why 75,000. Where'd you get that number from?
I know, it seemed to be a number kind of plucked out of the sky.
Like, it was enough that he won't be bankrupt, but enough for me to take.
I don't want to take it all.
Slightly moral.
Yeah, Amy wants a horse for Christmas. She asked for it last year and didn't get it. This year she's getting one.
And we got an exciting phone call in E20 where she got Lisa on in our plan.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wished that we saw Lisa's other side of the conversation.
Yeah, they used to do that when like Peggy phoned someone or someone phoned Peggy and it would show her like in a fake villa somewhere.
But they'd have like a green screen background, wouldn't they? Just have the production crew going in the background, so it sounds like they're laying on a beach or something.
So she said, don't ask any questions, just help me out. £75,000 in your bank.
No, an offshore account.
Yeah.
She wants to set up an offshore account, and it's like, presumably Lisa was like,
but Mel didn't
why?
go. Yeah, although Lisa agreed to it, but we know that she's not mentally that stable at the moment. From when we last heard from her at Christmas.
But obviously, again, I don't think this is a spoiler because it's quite wild knowledge, widely known that
she's back.
Lisa is coming back.
Yeah.
So this is obviously the writers and the production of EastEnders just reminding some viewers who may have just started to dip their water back into EastEnders that there was a character called Lisa and she shot Phil Mitchell.
She's best friends with Mel. Mel has needed Lisa for like the past year.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
I said it way back when she first came back.
Well, you said it after also Ray got killed. You said there's no reason for Mel other than maybe if Lisa came back. And there you go, you were right. Lisa is coming back.
Yeah. It's the perfect time for Lisa to come back because she's got the Louise thing, the pregnancy, the Shianu thing. She can shoot Ben and the Who Shot Ben thing. It can all go down.
We're not doing it. I don't think it's Who Shot Ben, is it? It's who's attempted to kill Sharon and Keanu, isn't it?
Yeah, Lisa. My money's on Lisa.
Yeah, to get the love of Phil back. It was not out the realm of possibility.
Yeah, but Mel in the end didn't go through with it. She got very close. Rainie even just let her carry on.
Yeah. I mean, Master Sleuth Mel was able to determine Jack's password was Ronnie 1. I mean, Ronnie 1.
Mel should know that he's still not over her then, really, if that's his password. That should be
that's true.
Alarm bells for Mel.
If that's your password in life. Do you reckon that he uses that password for everything?
Oh,
his
yeah.
Gmail account.
Pornhub account.
yeah. His Netflix account.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's how she worked it. Oh, no, because Amy sorted out... They didn't call it Netflix, the streaming movie service. Amy sorted it out for her didn't she? So, yeah. I mean, she was there to babysit Amy because Amy was showing a video at school which had ghosts in it and she didn't like it. And Mel was, I was young and I used to be told stories. And
I was young once when I had a conscience and a soul. Now I'm just a hard, cold bitch.
This square has changed me something chronic.
In these 12 months.
Yeah.
But she also got Hunter's sentencing. He got life, apparently, off screen. He got life.
But again, we know that he's not going to stay off screen for very long. Again, surprisingly, we found out recently that he's returning.
I know. And it's really, he can return in a prison scene, but they said he's returning to the square. So I don't quite understand.
I mean, maybe...
Is Mel and Lisa going to break him out of jail?
They're
going to have a Thelma and Louise ending, couldn't they? They could be
drive off a cliff.
Yeah, Mel and Lisa would be let's just do it. We've got nothing else.
Well, Hunter can be Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
The one they pick up at the motel on the way.
That would suit Mel as an exit.
What, to kill herself?
No,
to run away from the law?
Know.
Well, no, that's true.
It
freeze frames, doesn't it?
But she has that vintage car, doesn't she? That red one.
She does. She drove it off in speed this week, didn't she?
So her and Lisa could be in that. That would be a good exit, actually, for Mel. With a long scarf blowing in the wind.
They do it off Dover or something. Yeah. Do you reckon the Duff would literally be a freeze frame with the car flying through the air?
I hope so. Let's go to the Isle of Wight.
Yeah. We catch the ferry now. I don't need the ferry. We'll fly.
No, it'd be a good exit for Mel, actually. I'll remember that. Her femme fatale phase that she had.
I mean, it would be interesting if they did a suicide of that. I mean, it's not really a suicide, was it?
You
it's
just don't know if
they came
got
to
away.
a desperate end.
Yeah.
If Mel and Lisa decide that they've done so much trouble up until that point,
because she's obviously also killed someone, shot someone in this time as well. If we're thinking ahead,
Well,
She shot Ben, for example.
Yeah. So
they've got to go.
they've got to go. They're being chased by the police. Jack there, front row centre with the
Jack's
megaphone.
joined the police again, so he's chasing them.
Just for the purposes of the story. And then leaves immediately after because he just can't carry on.
Well, his mate said to him, you should join the force again.
Yeah.
He got some info on Fraser, so they're plotting.
Do you reckon what rank do you think he'd go back into the police? Would you go straight to detective?
Probably, because it'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, he wouldn't do any of the kind of Bobby stuff, kind of like walking the streets.
But he met his old mate and he got some info on Fraser, and that's how he
I mean, again, let's go for black male character stereotypes. Broken family, no dad, or dad's in jail. Mum couldn't cope, couldn't get on at school, joined a gang. It really did tick all the boxes. Let's be honest.
They keep doing that, don't they? Yeah, he sorted him out. Tiff sorted. Mel didn't take the money in the end.
No.
But they found out another woman did.
Yeah. I mean, never underestimate a woman scorned. That's all I have to say.
Also, it's quite easy to get away with it because Max is so dumb.
Well, I know. And so Rainie ran away on...
I love baby Abby.
I know. I love baby Abby so much that I don't even notice she's gone for 24 hours. It's just insane. She left the house. It was... Oh, I mean, if it was any other character, I'd probably be a bit like... Well, I don't know. I think any other character would have bothered caring, looking and noticing. Yeah. And it just goes to show how Max
doesn't care.
He
says he cares about Abby, but he didn't notice her gone.
Abby's just a thing to him. It's just a possession. That's all she is to him. And it's just one of those possessions that he can just put down, give to someone else to look after for a little while, and only is upset and notices her missing when money's involved.
Yeah. Or the anniversary of someone's death, so he can cry and be like, baby Abby's what I have.
Well, that's obviously, I think that's what it's heading, isn't it? Because we know, again, the trailer's got a lot to answer for. The trailer showed Max crying over a picture of Abby. So it's obviously going to be... Yeah. I'd cry and drink myself. Because there was also something else on the trailer where Ian says, I'm going to get Abby back. And we all immediately presumed that it's because he got upset with Max. But maybe he's working with Max to get Abby back from Rainie. So maybe it was actually that they're going to work together to get baby Abby back once. Why do I keep saying baby Abby at the beginning of baby Abby?
TM.
Trademark.
What Rainie should do is just give Simon Wicks a call. Simon, it's Rainie here. I've got your granddaughter. Yeah. Can I just live with you for a bit in Australia with Peter? Yeah, sure.
Why not? Pop on over.
Wixie would allow it, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He'd like that.
I mean, I don't know. Rainie, do you reckon Rainie's gone far? Because it makes better sense if Rainie had run away to some distance. Because she's FaceTimed them now, so she's revealed her plan less than 24 hours after it happened. So she needs to kind of give herself distance. Because, Jack especially Jack, he's got people in the force. He can find people to...
because she's taking money from Jack's account and Max's account.
Yes, because Max didn't have that much money in his account, so she propped it up with
Tracy
Jack's.
loved that, didn't she? Declined.
I know. And again, Max was like, oh, it must be your card machine broken.
Yeah, sort it out, Trace.
Yeah, sort it out, Trace.
Up, Max.
And the way he smacked his card on the card reader as well, like some kind of Neanderthal hitting a club on a dinosaur's head. And that was denied too,
and Tracy was like,
yeah.
Flipped her hair and walked off.
Good for Trace. What Trace should have done is taken the drinks back as well.
Yeah. And never liked you, Max.
Yeah. Because Jack had half drunk as a bottle to fill that up later, Jack. Yeah, definitely. So I felt good when Max had his card declined.
And Rainie's phone call was good as well. She told him what was what. I agreed with everything she said. She even said, you haven't even noticed we've gone. So well,
she coldly said at the end of the phone call, bye, Max.
Yeah.
The way she said, bye, Max.
That would... Because did you think that was her exit earlier? Because it would have made quite a good exit for Rainie, that, actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would have been happy with that. I mean, I love Rainie, though. So, in a way, I hate it when Rainie's not on the soap. But, no, it's not her exit. Like I say, she's going to be found.
She's got a Stuart storyline to come, hasn't she?
Yeah. If she hadn't made that phone call, then I probably would have been more inclined to think that was Rainie's
Black
story
Cab.
for a little bit, and gone, and for a little while, for Abby to come back when she's 5 years old and looking just like her mum.
Cast as Lorna Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Lorna Fitzgerald wearing a pair of shoes on her knees, so she shuffles into the room. Hello, Dad.
Will the bank take the money back? Because the bank know it's stolen, so
No.
will Rainie's cards be cut or?
No, because they can't prove it was Rainie. Well, I suppose they can if it's gone to Rainie's account.
That's what I thought the whole time.
Rainie's not got an offshore account, has she?
Going on about it, so
and
maybe Rainie will be in trouble.
You can't get cash, can you? You can't take £75,000 out as cash. It's too high, I think.
Will she go to prison for stealing this money?
It's fraud, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fraud, so technically she
up to
could.
5 years.
I mean, so yeah, I think you're right. I think the bank should... Is it really up for 5 years for fraud?
I assume.
Oh, I thought you were being intelligent then. I was quite impressed. The bank was quite reluctant to give the money back to him. Well, even the security fraud or anything like that.
Because they said it was his IP at his house, so he must have transferred
so it. Has to be him.
Someone in the house. And it wasn't Mel.
But then that means that if God forbid, if a robber should come into your house and transfer money, I'm just saying in the real world...
Use Ronnie1 as your password.
Well, see, I'm a bit more smarter than that.
Yeah.
Mine's Ronnie2. I'm sure, like I say, Rainie will come back, and Jack still has his investment portfolio, so I don't worry for Jack. But Max, all he has is Walford East.
He's rubbish. I hate Max. Mel had some balls though, because she basically said to Jack, "Yeah, I nearly did do it actually, but I didn't."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you got some front, Mel, acting all superior,
and also stood up to Max as well, saying like, "Oh yeah, really, you're that concerned? You want to get my pants? That was the only reason you." Let me around your house. Yeah. It's like, oh, you're sniffing around Jack. It's like, yeah, Max, you were sniffing around me. Don't start that rubbish.
I love the two women getting over on the Brannings.
But it's nice.
About time.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice that the strong women are kicking out again and starting to show their worth on the soap.
Right, so our next one is extremely short storyline, which always is because it involves Adam and Habiba, which always seems to just be one scene a week at the moment.
Yeah, it's just kind of reminding you. I'm presuming there's going to be a big payoff and there's going to be a whole week of it soon, so...
We need something.
I mean, it's an interesting story. It genuinely is. It hooks me.
The pacing's been real off.
The pacing's been very snail pace, hasn't it?
It's like a few weeks ago, I was quite into it when they were doing that secret kiss at night time and she was in the flat. And now it's just like, oh.
Oh, yeah, when she was in the flat and Honey was there upset because Billy had upset her.
Sort of paced off again. But he's kind of upset that she may be looking for a new man.
Well, no, she's not. But because Iqra...
he thinks she is.
Because Iqra and Arshad and Miriam have kind of planted the seed in his head, he thinks that Habiba is the one who came up with the idea in the first place, which obviously then the plan has worked very well because now Adam's jumped down Habiba's throat.
Miriam knew that he would act like that though, didn't she? That's why she looked at him funny when she said it.
Yeah, so he's kind of jumped straight to Habiba and said like, why are you telling people that you want to find another man?
Ruined what we had now.
Yeah, that's it. And again, he's playing her, isn't he? He's again using his manipulation to make her feel weak and that she needs to start crawling back to him again. So again, we're seeing this Adam side.
Yeah, he can't stand that she might be over him or looking for someone else. And like he's the best thing. Well,
he's the pick of the crop, isn't he? Yeah. In his eyes, he is the number one top dog. And so to ever even consider thinking that another man is better than him, is just unthinkable. It's irrelevant. It's not necessarily true.
Yeah, that was it really. There wasn't much. There was literally like two scenes.
Yeah,
so I don't really know what we can say. Iqra was involved and Habiba got upset that Iqra knew about the plan.
And Iqra's quite worried about Habiba because she thinks that she's
childish.
She's childish and very infatuated, and that this is really damaging her. That she's basically obsessed with Adam, and there's nothing else in this world other than Adam. And now Adam has said you've ruined it. Now this has torn Habiba apart. She's not serving in the Walford East to quite the high quality she once was.
She had one of the best lines though when Ruby asked her what was on the special. She said food. So that made up for a lack of story this week.
Being dismissive to Ruby, point. So Habiba won the week in that respect.
Yeah. So there you go. So next up we have a game.
Oh yes, a good game. It's time for a bit of a wheeler dealer, a bit of Ian Beale's Real Deal. I think
he's back.
So Ian Beale is at it again, doing some wheeling and dealing to get himself a few extra pounds to pay for that tuition, that sweet tuition.
And that 6-month holiday.
That's right. He's got a big loan to pay off, and his credit card bill has skyrocketed. So he's made another one of his Real Deal games. For any new listeners to the show, I've kind of picked it up to be something different to what it actually is. Basically, I'm going to give Ben a question, and then there's lots of different answers. He has to say if the previous answer to the next answer is higher or lower, if that makes sense.
Like that famous card game.
Yeah. So it's higher or lower, like play your cards right, that kind of thing, but not with cards.
But not affiliated in any way.
Absolutely none at all, and nor is this affiliated in any way with Ian Beale. It's just coincidence that it's his real deal. So as we have bear witness this week, quite a few characters from the Square have spent some time in Her Majesty's jail service. And so I wondered if you knew perhaps the sentences that these characters had been given when they had their court cases. What I'm going to do is give you the name of a character, what they were
imprisoned for,
Yeah, what they were in prison for, and then you need to tell me if the next character was imprisoned for longer or shorter than the last.
Well, they actually got sentenced for of how long they were actually in prison, though.
Their sentence. No, you're quite right to say this. It's their sentence.
Stacey.
So this doesn't include time that was served. This is their actual sentence that was given to them.
Seeing as Hunter recently got life, and we know he's coming into the show in a few months, so.
Well, that's a bit of a spoiler for anyone who may not have known. Anyway, Hunter's not an answer in this, so don't worry, it's not that easy. So I'm starting with Max Branning, and he got life imprisonment, recommended for a 21-year minimum for killing Lucy Beale, which he was wrongfully accused of doing, hence his bitterness toward the Beales now. So, Max, but we're starting with life imprisonment. So there's only one way we can go with this, really. Ben Mitchell, for attacking Jordan Johnson with a spanner causing a fractured skull. What was the...
Well, he went to prison for that?
He did, yeah. That's when Jay gave him his Lady Gaga CD.
Oh, God.
Is it greater or lesser than life imprisonment?
Sorry, less. Yeah. I thought I had to give a number for a bonus point.
Yep, you do. How long?
1 year.
No, he was sentenced for 8 months.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So Bobby Beale, he got sentenced for killing Lucy Beale and attacking Jane Beale with a hockey stick. Was Bobby Beale's sentence longer or shorter than 8 months?
Higher.
Yeah. Do you know?
And it was 3 years.
It was actually 4 years. Because it was 3 years for killing Lucy Beale and then 1 year for attacking Jane.
Oh, yeah, 2015, 16. Yeah.
So it was 4 years in total. He got added sentence on top. So, and he didn't get out on good behaviour either, which we all presumed would happen. But he
Future storyline.
Absolutely. So Bobby Beale went to prison or was sentenced for 4 years. But what about Stacey Slater, the one you mentioned earlier? She was sentenced. And you're quite right, she was released afterwards on an appeal. But before she had that appeal, she was sentenced for killing Archie Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 years. Greater Stacey. Or shorter than 4 years?
Greater.
Right.
I don't think it was much. Stacey, I think it was 6?
It was 5.
5. Oh.
Yep, she was sentenced for 5 years. But, as I said, her solicitor put an appeal forward. And she was released pretty much the next day.
Thanks to Janine and Kat's blackmailing Janine. There you go.
Wait, Janine didn't give evidence against Stacey.
Yeah, because of Kat.
But Stacey didn't want them to lie in front of her children, so she came forward to the police, and hence why she was sentenced. There you go.
Why did she run away then with a secret identity?
She ran away long before. That's when Bradders jumped off the roof of the Vic. Then she ran away. She was then found on a bus getting off to do her hair job by Kat. She was then approached by Kat.
Boyfriend, the guy from Busted.
That's
Matt
right.
Willis.
That's it. See, it all floods back when you want it to. So that cheeky chappy Ben Mitchell's back again for the murder of Heather Trott. He went to prison again. So he did his first stint for 8 months. But what about his second stint? Was it longer or shorter than 5 years?
Shorter.
Mm-hmm. How long?
I'm going to say similar to Bobby. So 4 years, 3 years.
No. Don't change your answer. You're absolutely correct. He was given 4 years for the Heather Trott frame smacked around the head.
Kathy's so proud of her son and her grandson.
She really should be. So probably an easy one. Arthur Fowler. He was, after his breakdown, went to prison.
The first time, right?
The first time for stealing the Christmas Club money. Was it longer than 4 years?
No, shorter.
Not so long. Yeah.
I can't remember now. It's either like 35 days or 52 days. I can't remember which one.
Well, I'll help you and say it's neither.
Roughly, though, isn't it?
It's roughly, but it's neither those.
I can't remember. I think it's like 50 something. How long was he off screen for? I'm going to say 56 days.
28 days.
28 days?
Yeah, a month. He was in prison for a month for stealing Christmas Club money. I did try to look up, and if anyone listening knows when Arthur went to jail, ultimately to his demise the second time because of the riot.
1995.
Not when, but for how long? Because I couldn't find the information for the sentence he was given.
Oh, yeah.
He was framed.
Yes, he got out early.
Right, Dot Cotton went to prison. She assisted Ethel's suicide and she contempt of court. So did she go to prison for longer or shorter than 28 days?
Longer.
All right.
I assume.
How long?
Or was it one of those things where, because she's old, she got off? No, longer than 28 days, because June Brown probably had a break.
Right. She would have gone to Ireland and visit old Dottie. Yeah. Although, not then, I suppose.
Yeah, so longer. Is that correct?
It's not, no, it's shorter.
Oh, I won't guess then.
Oh, Not going to hazard a guess?
Shorter than 28 days?
Yeah.
14 days.
Exactly right, 14
Do I
days.
get a bonus point then?
Because she was never convicted for assisting Ethel's suicide, but she was convicted for contempt of court because she had a bit of an outburst in court.
Short history of court, so
She really
they had to.
So she got the 14 days for the contempt of court. Bonus round now, because you did so well.
No Wilmot Brown, I'm shocked.
Too obvious, Ben. Too obvious.
7 years. No, it wasn't. Was it? I can't remember. Never mind.
This bonus round could double your points. So I think you got 7 points.
Ooh.
7 out of 10. So you could double it to 14. Are you prepared to risk it all for this double or nothing
Or do
round?
I go home with my points? Is that the game? Like tipping point?
Yeah, you can either go home with the points you've got already, or you can...
Which mean nothing.
Which mean nothing. Or you can bonus...
Or I can double my
double
points
it for
and
14.
Go home with double.
For pride.
Double.
You're going to double?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing to lose.
Here's the question. How many years
Hmm.
did Den Watts get sentenced for arson? Ooh, bit of a head scratcher,
5 years.
right? Is that your answer? You're risking everything.
Because I remember
on
him
5 years.
thinking, was that what they said that he would get? Yeah, I remember, I think 5 years wasn't too long, but he'd be able to cope in prison for that long.
You're incorrect. I'm afraid you've lost everything, Ben. The shirt on your back, it was a trick question.
No, he wasn't.
Because he was never sentenced.
Well, that's stupid.
He got ambushed on the way to court, and he never went to trial. So there was no sentence.
No.
Instead,
but the firm did say it would be 5 years.
Doesn't
That's what
matter. It's what the court says. But and ultimately again led to his demise. The first it was him, then Arthur. Led to his well, it wasn't his death though. We found out.
He came back. I watched that recently,
resurrected.
so I could see Pauling's reaction. That's the only reason I watched it.
Did she cover her mouth and go? Ooh.
He said, "I was sorry to hear about Arthur," and she said, "He was a better man than you. He should be here. You should be dead." That was her reply.
Pauline.
Well, she was folding towels in laundrette.
Like you do. She always does her most dramatic moments when she's doing ironing or folding something, like doing some domesticated work. Anyway, so there we go. So you did well.
0.
You got 0 points.
I did get 7, but 0.
You lost them all on the final round. Let us know how any of you got on those questions and get in touch on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or email eastendersweekly@gmail.com. And that was Ian Beale's Real Deal.
Now on to my least favourite subject, Lola.
Oh, poor Lola. You can't be too angry at Lola. She's been on a roller coaster of emotions this week.
Hardly.
As has the rest of the cast, though, revolved around this story. The only one who seems to have stayed quite calm and settled throughout the whole time is Billy. Billy seems to be the voice of reason, which again surprises us all. Once more, another week of Billy surprising us.
Oh, Lola is just pointless. She has no place.
Which she will do at the end of this week, though.
She doesn't. Oh, that's just so forced. I'm really annoyed at that as well.
Okay, well, let's get to it then, shall we?
Okay. If we have to.
So, obviously, Jay and Ruby their relationship is blossoming.
They're Ross and Rachel, aren't they?
They are the Ross and Rachel of the square. And Jay has had a quiet week. I mean, how do you have a quiet week at a funeral parlour? People just stop dying.
Well, I did say last week I was doing my Who Dies on EastEnders. Not many people died in June, throughout the 30 years of EastEnders. So maybe.
Well, so it's an upward trend. It happens.
A quiet time of year.
People,
it's sunny. People are happy. They're not dying yet.
No, I suppose that's
It's normally winter, isn't it?
Yeah, but I suppose exhaustion though and dehydration. Surely there'd be an increase, especially with the heat wave.
That's what I had in this studio.
That's what I mean. Sorry,
I've gone delirious.
If you die, Ben, I believe you me, Coca and Son will be doing your service for you.
Is Lola going to do my hair?
Yeah, and your makeup.
Just to annoy me.
No, I'm going to get Stacey to do your makeup.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to get no. Tiff is going to dress you. Oh. No, again, Whitney will dress you with one of her recycled clothing line.
Good.
She might end up in that T-shirt that Callum wears. Gay ass.
Spoiler.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
For next week. Can't talk about that yet.
No, I know. There's so much happening. I think it is that a lot of people have said on Twitter, and that is that we're so excited about next week coming. I keep referring to, and next week this is, and next week, and so I'm just next week I'm going to have nothing to say because I've said it all this week.
I mean, hopefully Lola would have gone by next week. She's off on a coach.
Well, she's got her ticket, her National Express ticket.
Because Billy did say, you've got a chance again. He keeps saying that to her, and when she doesn't, because Jay has worked out that Ruby's got loads of money. Minted.
She is minted. She's a millionairess. So, and everyone...
All stolen money.
Oh, yeah. Well, everyone kept saying that, didn't they? Every time Jay mentioned it, someone was like, well, I'm not really that surprised. Look what her father was. And so the only one who's really surprised by the fact that she perhaps has a bit of money in the bank account is Jay.
Which is why they're a good match.
But then that's what Ruby and Stacey and even Ben said, that he's a bit of a fun sponge, a bit boring, a bit plain.
Yeah, but a few months ago, Stacey was like Team Jay, like telling Ruby to date him. It seems so forced for us to be like, no, Jay and Lola belong together.
Well, they kept saying, are you sure? Are you sure you belong together?
Because
you're glamorous and you like to go out and you like to be
Can't
spontaneous.
just change things in 1 week, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but that does sound like Ruby, doesn't it? She is a bit spontaneous. And Jay is a bit of a sit in front of the sofa, get a sandwich made up, tin of Jenkins beer and just watch
it might be what she needs at the moment. A bit of sensible.
Well, a bit of settlement, a bit, normal. A bit of the norm. I mean, the ordeal she's been through recently when she was really on tender hooks about the whole consent story and so on. I suppose you are right. She needs that kind of downtime.
He's not there just for the money because he didn't know she was minted.
But he kept mentioning it to everyone, and that upset Lola too.
Well, yeah.
Not Lola, sorry, Ruby. That upset Ruby because Ruby.
Everything upsets both of them. Ruby and Lola are both annoying.
I mean, Lola and Ruby, really,
they should get together. They should get a flat.
No, they should be friends. It makes sense, really, because they are quite similar. They're both quite bitter and
annoying. Change their mind 4 times
in
one episode.
Yeah, they change their opinion on a spin of a pin. It's like
it's like Lola was like, oh, there's a chance of me and Jay, apparently, says Billy. I'm going to get a job and settle down in this area then. She then sees Jay actually kissing his girlfriend, and that upsets her.
Which she knew anyway.
So she's like, no, I'm going to leave now. Back to Newcastle. I forgot to say.
I mean, Billy and Lola made a pinky promise, didn't they? That they're both going to get. They're both going to get what they want.
We're both going to keep hounding these two people till they submit to us.
Until they're so weak, they just have to say yes.
She'll probably get with Jay, and then she'll be like, actually, I don't like him. It was the chase.
But this is the thing, isn't it? Yeah, exactly that. This is what amazed me. I mean, Ruby doesn't want to get with, or a lot of people said don't get with Jay because he's such a kind of horizontal guy. Like there's nothing, he doesn't have a highs or lows. Yeah, no spark, no kind of craziness to him. Lola's not the kind of person. Look at the way she dresses. She's not the kind of person who likes brown, is it, as a colour to wear, like Jay does. Jay literally just wears like a plain t-shirt, plain jeans. For work, he wears obviously a suit, but like very plain suit. Doesn't have a very stylish tie or anything. Well, Lola's walking around in a neon trousers, leopard skin. Yeah, exactly. It's like those Stalo pens, doesn't it? Like a pack of 4.
Also, what doesn't make sense to me, when Lola first came back with Ben, she said she might go back with Jay, and then Ben did all those things to try and keep her and Jay like apart. He like invited her ex-boyfriend over and said, you can't do it, it'll ruin my plan. And now he's going out of his way to get them together. To get her to stay. It's like, what?
Well, I suppose he thought that when they first arrived that Lola would be distracted if she started chasing after Jay again, but now he realises that the only reason Lola would stay...
No, the reason he didn't want them together, he said because that she might tell Jay about the plan. Well, she could still tell Jay about the plan now.
Yeah, well, yes, but a lot has happened since then, where I think Ben now knows that he's got Lola in a position where she wouldn't, because he has enough about her that if she did ever try to take the plan forward toward Jay. I mean, we know that Ben is playing Jay a little bit, and it's probably harks back to the days when Jay was seen as the real Mitchell son in Phil's eyes and not Ben. So again, the Lola and Jay thing is clearly to benefit Ben, or else Ben wouldn't bother. Ben wouldn't care.
I just want Lola to go. It hasn't worked. Her return has not worked.
Well, it's just been the same story as when she left, isn't it? And that's the her and Jay story.
So what's going to happen when her and Jay get together then? What? There's nothing else to her character.
I am racking my brain. If anyone, I mean, there are a lot of Lola fans out there, and if one of you are listening, if someone of you,
yeah, but are you a 2019 Lola fan?
Yeah, let us know if you're a 2019 Lola fan. Tweet us or email us. Let us know, and if you are or you're not, for that reason,
I'll
give
block
us reasons why. No, give us your reasons why. Tell us, because we are genuinely interested, and we'll read them out on the show, and we'll discuss them, because it's tricky, as Ben says. Like, I'm still giving her the benefit of the doubt. I've grown with Ben big time now. Grown for Bobby. Bobby was an instant hit for me straight away. But Lola's still not quite getting it.
She doesn't seem like she needs to be there, does she? She's just like wandering around.
Yeah, she does, doesn't she? She just wanders and kind of
they just go.
drifts from one story to the next.
Like Ruby and Jay were quite an interesting couple. They should stay together, but they've decided to break up off screen.
I have to say, I was never a fan of Ruby and Jay. To be
more than Lola and Jay.
But if that's the only reason you think Ruby and Jay should stay together, then that's not a good enough reason.
They were quite sweet when they were doing their little dates in their little flat, weren't they?
Yeah, but then
months ago.
Yeah, but then that's when Ruby needed the support, and I suppose now feels like she's back to her full level.
More like they're making way for Martin and Ruby, an affair.
Where you've mentioned it a few times, and as we know,
predictions,
Stacey is on the way.
Mounting up now for the rest of the year.
Yeah, don't forget we've got our 2019 prediction envelope from when we did our review of the year.
One of mine hasn't happened yet. I remember one.
I don't remember any of mine.
No, I only remember one. Actually, no, I remember two, but one's really sad now I think about it because someone's changed. But I won't say.
Oh, okay.
I hope it doesn't happen.
Okay, well...
You have to wait till February.
You have to wait till February when we do our review of the year of 2019 and we'll reveal our predictions of the year. God, that's a plug. 6 months' time. Keep listening in 6 months' time and you'll see our predictions of the year. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. Billy kind of mentioned Honey again.
Yeah, it's just stupid. But it was weird that Ruby and Jay broke up off screen and he told Ben. Like, you didn't even get to see them decide it, really.
Yeah, I did think they were going to stretch it because on the very last episode, on Thursday's episode this week, they kind of said, we could be good together, couldn't we? And then when Ruby hugged Jay, you could see her face was like, no, actually, I think I've had a lot of advice now, and you are a little bit too vanilla for me. I mean,
mates.
Yeah, and then as you say, Jay just walked out and said, we've broken up now. Gotta go for a pint.
I like how they keep mentioning that Ben fancied all the ex-cast members of EastEnders, though. Like, he fancies Sean Slater, apparently, this week, we found out.
Yeah.
Ben was all on it, wasn't he?
He was. I mean, Ben Real is a real... This incarnation of Ben is a real horn dog, isn't he?
I know. He just needs to get a bit more Callum. Set him off.
I know, exactly. He's like a dog on heat. He needs to mount them and dry hump them a few times, just to get his testosterone level down a little bit, just so he can think a bit more straight. But good for Ben. His first plan actually
it worked.
Completed. That worked, yeah.
And with help from Billy, who he was about to kill off last month. So that's lucky.
Yeah, lucky he didn't kill him in the end. Yeah.
Right, our last storyline is the Taylors. And we've been asking for this for ages, to have a Chantelle and Grace scene alone. It wasn't in the house, which we did want, but it was still them on their own. And we've learned quite a bit about Gray this week, about his upbringing.
Yeah.
He said to Mel that his mother has been dead for quite some time. Mm-hmm. And he said, boys need their mums in their lives, trust me.
Yep, which gave Mel an idea of stealing money.
First thing that came to her head.
Money?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, money. Why
Maybe
not?
she should go see her mum.
Girls need money in their lives.
And then we also had the scene where he was feeling he's quite insecure, Gray. This handsome man in these posh suits with a high-paid job and perfect family. He seems to be insecure, which is nice.
It makes sense now why he's so overly keen to impress and help people, because he just wants acceptance and for people to like him, and as you say, from his past we've now realised that, but there's one person who can't accept him and doesn't want to bring him into the family. And to be honest with you, if Mitch didn't like me very much,
I'd be glad. My life would be better.
Upset. No, I really wouldn't.
No,
he's so
Gray,
judgy.
He did say something like to Chantelle. Gray said, I can't even get on or talk to my own dad, so how do I ever have a chance to do it to yours? So obviously he's not very good at talking to men, I guess, sort of thing, or bonding with men.
I mean, I just suppose...
So he tries to be like manly, because he tries to do football talk, didn't he? And it didn't quite work.
He overcompensates for something, doesn't he? And I suppose... we don't know if Gray has other brothers or anything like that. We don't. But presumably he hasn't lived up in his dad's eyes. And he's getting the same kind of vibe from Mitch as well. Which has upset Chantelle. And Chantelle quite rightly reminds Mitch that really... Again, Mitch needs to be put in his place. Yeah, who are you to say any of that when you didn't step up as being a good enough dad for me and Keegan? So shut up.
Bailey, really.
No, well, yeah, exactly. But he still palms Bailey off, really. And then has a go at Karen because she did something that she thought was best for Bailey, and then didn't speak to "You're dead to me now" to Karen. He's so where does he get off? Honestly,
I don't like him. I like Bailey, so I was glad they won their little partnership award. But I still don't like Mitch.
No,
he's so ugh.
Bailey's carrying Mitch.
Yeah,
really is big time. I mean,
he's a nasty character. And he's not got much nice about him.
No, he's just... Well, and don't forget, he stole the money from Patrick And I don't remember if he's still paid all of that off yet.
He put up a shelf, didn't
He put up a shelf. Well, he did the kitchen, and then he did some haircuts in Patrick's
But then he
lounge.
took some money from the haircuts, didn't he?
Oh,
at the time.
so he took a share for himself.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if that's kind of been rewritten a bit.
Well, he's meant to be working also in Fox and Hair, and I've not seen him do a day since the launch.
You don't see him there, do you?
No, he's off doing other things all the time now. So...
But I saw online a lot of people saying, I noticed something villainous about Gray now. He's something really bad about him. But I didn't see that at all. I mean, this confirmed to me that he's going to be finally one of the only complex layered male characters. They don't really have male characters which are normal and have layers, do they? Really? They're all quite flat.
You're right there. They just seem to have one reason and one tone. And Mitch... Not Mitch. God, Mitch is one of them. Gray does seem to have, he's and I like the way they're exploring it as well. Little bits and pieces coming out now and then, rather than just one episode where it all comes out at once. So then it's this is the character. This is why you should feel sorry for him. Go.
And it's nice that he seems to be bonding with Mick Carter. Not Mitch.
I mean, Mick quite rightly told Gray that if when your daughters grow up, you'll realise that no man will be good enough. And so it kind of comforted him as well, because he saw that Mitch was being very off with him. Wouldn't accept a drink when he went to the bar. It's just Mitch is just so frustrating.
Gray's got such a nice little face. You can't be mean to him.
No.
Smile.
That moment you were saying where people were saying, there's a dark side to Gray now, I think they're referring to when he kind of scowled and kind of looked a bit angry at Mitch for not kind of... Because he overheard Mitch say to Karen, I don't like him, I just don't trust him. And I think that, as you said, that upset him. And I think that he quite rightly felt a bit concerned and upset by that comment. And I think that got misinterpreted, perhaps, maybe.
I hope he's not, villainous. Because, he said, you could pick up on that line where he says, my mum's been dead for a while now. You could take that and be like, he murdered his mum or something. I hope not. I don't want that to be. But it would just be a normal, Arthur Fowler.
Yeah,
he was a normal guy. He had... troubles. He was silly, he made silly mistakes, but he was he seemed like a real person. I get that sort of vibe from Gray, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it's nice to have a family on the square where it's 2.4 children, they've got the 2 daughters.
You can still have drama.
Yeah,
but it doesn't have to be
everyday drama.
Yeah,
and sometimes you just want that kind of everyday approach to the soap. Everything doesn't need to be over the top all the time. Sometimes, obviously, not to the extent where everything is very plain and everyday, what Sean O'Connor did, where it's the bin bags and the pasta overboiling.
But you need some male characters who have some longevity in them.
Yeah,
because any ones for pre the past 10 years, they've all been villainous or evil or related to Wilmot Brown or something, and it's it puts a shelf life on them.
Yeah.
So you need some longevity.
Well, looking forward to seeing more Gray and Chantelle.
Maybe we'll meet his dad.
Ooh, there's a dad coming in next week. Again, me talking about next week.
Jack Branning's not the only daddy.
Oh, I wouldn't... Well, the dad that's coming in, I wouldn't say was much of a Jack Branning. No, let me tell you.
I'll stick with Gray.
Well, there we go. That was the week, again, of EastEnders.
Yeah, it happens every week, doesn't it?
I know, it seems
funny
to pass weekly. Some might say EastEnders weekly. So it's time to find out who everyone thought had won the week, and also what happened in past weeks on Who Won the Week.
You know me, I ain't one to gossip.
So we're not going to mess around, no dilly-dallying. We're just going to hop on that rocket of time and space and find a nice place to settle down and hear a story from the past. Ben, where are we?
Well, I closed my eyes. I loaded up, typed in Ronnie01 in my Pornhub account. No, I closed my eyes, loaded up every single year of EastEnders, scrolled through, up, down, click, and I picked this episode, which again matches what we talked about in the feature about Pat and Frank. So it's very weird how these things keep happening.
Yeah, it's fate almost.
So before I go on to the episode I did, I'm going to say whose birthdays we missed this week on EastEnders.
Yes.
26th of June, 1940, someone was born who's still on the square, and they're completely forgotten their birthday.
Let me guess. 1940?
Mm-hmm.
So they would be 69.
Yep, just opened a new business. I know it's not Kathy.
Oh. Did they Kathy?
Patrick Truman.
Oh, I was going to say Patrick.
No,
he's 69?
Yeah, same age as Kathy.
God, yeah. I can't believe how Kathy's She really has
I put a
found
thing
that.
on Twitter this week of Kathy's eternal youth. So go find it.
That fountain that she's drinking from is remarkable. Please give me directions so I can pop it on Google Maps.
So yeah, no one really cared about Patrick's birthday apparently, so that was forgotten.
I mean, I would have thought they could have done a scene with Ted and Patrick.
At least
maybe
drinking a rum or something.
Yeah, in the Vic.
Yeah, right, 30th of June, 1948. It was Irene's birthday. Wonder if she's still shacking up with young boys.
I miss Irene.
No,
yeah,
she's
the
cool,
exchange
isn't she?
students. Oh,
It was
Poor
one of my
Terence.
first episodes I watched when I was young. I watched the duff of when she pulled down the duvet and
duvet.
the young guy was next to her, and I was like, "What is this show?" And that was that.
Oh, I love Terry. I forgot Terry. Terry played that character in Hello Hello, the Italian general.
Yeah, it's funny, wasn't it? And 26th of June, 1989, Danielle Jones was born
Oh God.
by Ronnie.
By Ronnie. By Ronnie. Oh, poor Danielle. I love Danielle.
Very young, 19 years old.
They're all linked together because Janine killed Danielle, but Janine also slept with Terry, who was with Irene.
Did Irene sleep with Patrick, maybe? Who knows?
She might have shared a
Possibly.
drink with Patrick. Yeah.
Right, and one person died on the 24th of June, 2002. Rosa DeMarco, off-screen, died of a brain tumour. Or a brain head injury, sorry.
She should have seen the sign because she had that little grey patch in her hair.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, off-screen as well, and that's how they wrote out the rest of the brothers.
They weren't a very popular
No,
family.
they weren't.
They were introduced.
Thingy stayed around, didn't he? What was his name? Beppe.
Beppe. Oh, it's Beppe.
And that's how they wrote him out.
Beppe with his really styled beard.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot about
You should
him.
see what he looks like now. Speaking of
He's
daddies,
buff, isn't he? Yeah.
he could take on Jack. Right. So the episode I watched, 1994, 28th of June. And we've got another one of those episodes, which was filmed on location, which we love.
Which they never do that often anymore.
We're in Clacton.
Clacton on Sea.
Frank has been missing, run away.
Oh.
So Pat has also now run away trying to find him.
Oh, Pat.
So now Ricky and David Wicks have gone off to try and find Pat, who's trying to find Frank. And this is kind of like David Wicks' first appearance in the show. So this is when he's first in it. And Frank's done a runner. They all think he's left Pat. David is there to make friends with Pat and then get her money.
Oh, so he's there for her money.
Yeah, they're unrequited love at the moment. So Pat has gone to the holiday park where her and Frank first met because she thought he might be there waiting for her.
Oh, wow.
But guess what? It's
isn't.
been turned into a car park.
At a car park?
Oh, yeah.
God, that's a heck of a holiday. tiny holiday. Or a huge car park.
She went to number 204. That's where she said to Ricky, me and your father first met. But he wasn't there for her.
What's where Chalet 204 is now? Is it like a ticket machine or?
It's just an empty car park. She was stood in the middle of a car park crying, and she had makeup all over her. But her and David had a few words. How she was an awful mum, he was an awful son, and she kind of lets him go. And he says, "If I go now, mum, then you'll never see me again." She says, "That's probably for the best." What a bitch!
What a
hard-faced
cow!
She was a right hard-faced cow in this episode, massively. And then her and Ricky went around. They went on dodgems together because her and Frank did the dodgems there.
Pat and Ricky?
Yeah, I've posted the clip on Twitter already, so you can all go watch it. 20 seconds.
Okay.
And Pat and Ricky are on dodgems.
We might retweet it on the day of the release of the podcast as well, so we can share the love.
But yeah, and that was it. David Wicks says you're never going to see me again.
But that's not true though, as we later.
I've never seen him that young because I've only seen him older David Wicks, but he really does look like Simon's brother. They really did a good casting. He has the same haircut. when he appears.
Quite similar body type as well, and also the way they dress. They wear suit
but
trousers
didn't age
and a
as
shirt.
well as our Wixie.
No, I mean we want Wixie back.
Yeah,
I really would like to see him come back just for a little bit.
And get with Sharon when she breaks up with Phil.
No, I wouldn't want him to get back together with Sharon.
Yeah,
I'd want him to come back with some kind of, I don't know. I'd like him to be like an old kind of
he could
rich
be the new
man.
landlord of the Vic. Get rid of the Carters.
Oh, don't ever say that out loud. People get very upset. Anyway, that's something to maybe look forward to.
But the dodgem scene was my favourite.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to looking at it. I didn't know that you'd posted that, so I'll have to look at that later.
On there.
Ooh.
Sid Owens tagged.
Has he got his long hair at this point?
No, he's got it all cut short again.
He's kind of still curtains though.
Yeah.
The 90s look, which is now popular again, which is devastating. Right, so thank you, Ben. That was who won previous weeks, but this week who had won. So the options we gave you was Bully for Jean.
No, I don't like that.
Ruby's Riches / Lola Gone.
No, I don't like that.
Gray's Taylor Woes.
Yeah, I like that.
Or Jacked Up. or the Brannings, essentially.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. An honourable mention is
Who by?
by some guy called Ben
Ooh.
saying Bobby the Locksmith. So
That's my favourite story.
I think you're a bit obsessed with the Bobby story since you've
Yeah,
come up with your
dark.
theory. Yeah.
Dark and dangerous.
Anyway,
Just how I like them.
Ben got a few votes for that as well, but still didn't get into the top 4.
Oh.
So we're only going to talk about the top 4 here. So, so I'm going to leave first place to the very end, but I want you to guess the bottom 3 because they were really close, but first place was basically far and away the most popular. So who do you think came very last?
Jean.
No.
Oh.
Jean came second.
Oh.
Yeah, so Jean was second, very last. One more guess. Between Ruby,
Ruby,
Ray,
probably.
or Jacked Up.
Not Grey.
No, Ruby
Yeah,
came
Ruby.
last for 15%. Grace Taylor Woes came third with 20%. Bully for Jean was 24%. And far and away the winner, Jacked Up, with 41% of the votes.
Wow. He was in all the storylines, so.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He was
Got all
in
the votes.
everything. Exactly. Any story, you could have just put Jack into it. Thank you for voting. As always, you can vote on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. We poll all the votes together and then make one final total for the Who Won the Week.
Sounds like maths.
It is maths, but maths that I need to do, so you don't need to worry too much about it. As always, we ask you for the highs and lows of the week, and we've had loads of tweets, Facebook messages, and Instagram comments. I'll just read a couple out now. At Shirley Pussy said, I think...
They got a podcast, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Try and find them.
Yes, Shirley Pussy has a podcast.
Well, they're called Voice Notes.
Okay. What, the podcast is called that?
No, that's what he calls the podcast.
Oh, right. They
It's
are
called
good, though.
Shirley Carter's Pussy Podcast.
Shirley Carter. Right. So Shirley Carter's Pussy Podcast. This is a great podcast, though, isn't it? It's really fun. He kind of gives his opinions on the soap and...
Into his mind.
Yeah, it is. It's an exploration into his mind. He has to say, I think this week was quite the downfall considering how good last week was. At Jamie Coleman T says, Ben being cute with Lexi and scheming to keep her in town. At Damex Biatch says, I love all the Jack and Jean and what's his name stuff. I think he means...
What's his name? Aid Edmondson.
Yeah,
Daniel
Daniel.
Cook.
Yeah.
I kept calling him throughout the week.
They never said his name once.
I didn't know.
No, I'm certain they
Annoying
didn't.
man is what he's known as.
What, on the credits?
No, that's
Annoying
what Gene
man.
always says. Annoying man.
Annoying man. Anyway, hopefully they'll give his name at some point. At Tony Clay Fan said, not seeing Callum's
I
face.
thought you actually meant Tony Clay there, sorry.
No, sadly not.
Keeps getting in touch.
If it was him, then he's being quite egotistical because he says that not seeing Callum's face is what we very much did not like this week.
True.
And at Ben Mitchell, I can't say the whole title, agreed with at Tony Clay Fans as well.
Or he would. Ben misses him too.
Yeah.
All he's got is Ruby and her champagne flute.
On Facebook, Gilbert Pocket said, so good to see Gray and Chantelle have some decent scenes.
It is. I love it.
Also on Facebook, Cheryl says, why is Mitch a D? I can't say the word, but
Yeah, why is he?
why is he a D?
Poor Grey. It's his little face.
I know, it's mean, isn't it? And on
His face isn't mean. His face is all cute and sweet.
No, it's just mean what Mitch is doing.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
On Insta, x_gang_x said the favourite part was the Brannings. I mean, you couldn't miss them, as we've said a few times. They were difficult to miss. And our old friend on Insta, eKitchener97, said favourite was when the thug wet himself.
Oh yeah, that was good. Nice
It
little
was-
added thing. Didn't have to be there, but it was
No,
there.
I like
liked
that they
it.
added that, yeah.
Same.
Kind of shows he's still a little boy inside. Still a weak little man. As always, you can get in touch with us on social medias. You can find us on Twitter at EastEnders Week, on Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast, or go to our Facebook page. Just type in EastEnders Weekly Podcast, click on the group and ask to join. And more than likely we'll say, come on in.
Yep.
Everyone's welcome. You can also email us, eastendersweekly@gmail.com. We got a couple of emails this week, and we will reply to them, probably before this is released. But we've had a few feature ideas, more feature ideas.
I know, it's so handy, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it just makes our job so much easier. So if you have any ideas for features or ideas for something we could talk about on the show, please let us know, because honestly, we'd love to hear them, and we really do think normally do them.
Yeah,
'cause we
new
like to do
features
them.
coming soon.
Yeah, left, right and centre. They're popping out of our heads. So that is it. Thank you for joining us, as always, for our weekly roundup of the square. Any last words, Ben?
Kathy looks young.